All right, how's it going, gentlemen? My name is Jordan. I've been paddling at Kailua Canoe Club for the last 20 years or so. Um, very passionate about our canoe club, and your coaches Nick and Bretta have been paddling with them for over 10, 15 years. They know exactly what they're doing, and Honu as well. I have the privilege to paddle with Honu for a really long time as well. Paddled with Honu's mother and her grandfather. So. Definitely believe in what they're teaching you folks. So Nick had asked me to take a look at a couple of your guys' paddling strokes just to see what it looks like. So definitely good stuff here. As novice B paddlers, everything is very raw. It's you're kind of still understanding the mechanics of your body and how it's supposed to move and what's the most efficient method to move the canoe forward. So I know that they talk to you about a lot of stuff here, so I'll try to, hopefully it's consistent with everything that, hopefully my lesson here is consistent with what they're teaching you guys. That's better. So what we'll do here is we'll look frame by frame just to see what it looks like and, how you guys paddling looks. Go here, and a lot of people think it's like, oh, your paddling is really good, and then you look at it on video and it's like, oh wow, that's really what I look like here. So I'm not saying that you guys are bad or anything. It's actually really good stuff. Just so you can kind of see what it looks like. The video analysis here is actually really good to just kind of see what's going on, what's happening with your body, how your body moves and everything. Let's take a look. A couple of these ones over here. So going through, actually this is better, so you get the light here. So really good stuff here. So Reineer will focus on you. Got Nick Ho steering in the back over there. Nick Ho is an animal. So just want to kind of show you guys, what it looks like, what you guys look like on the side, and then I'll do some analysis as well. So, restarted. All right. So one thing that we are talking to our guys about in the Open Men program is looking at the movement of your top arm. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll take a look. I did some drawing here, so it basically shows where the movement of your top arm is. Right, so you take a look at this path here, coming down all the way down to the end. Good. And then a little loop-de-loop at the top, and then coming back forward, and then hitting again. So one thing I do want to show you here, it's not a bad thing to do that. We have a couple of our guys that do the same thing, and I want to show you what that looks like if I could find one. One of our guys, his name is Johnny. So Johnny kind of has that same paddling thing with his top arm. So we'll take a look at his, this guy in seat 2 here, right? This guy over here. So take a look at his path here. So he comes down, oops, oh crap. Okay, sorry here. So he comes down. Oh boy, this is going to be challenging. Okay, good drive, really good drive. And then what happens is, comes back up. Oh boy, probably should have did this before, but. And then he also has that loop-de-loop, okay? The reason why that loop-de-loop is there, right, okay? So you got that right there. So little loop-de-loop. I do want to show you one more thing here. I don't have Nick, unfortunately, on video, but I've got a couple other stuff here that I pre-did. So this is actually mine. I'm not saying that my technique is the best and that's the way to go, but just want to give you some perspective on the different top arm movements here. So as you take a look at the top arm and my trajectory here, so you see how it's just comes straight back up to the top, and then you got a very, very symmetrical D shape. That's kind of what we want to try to do. The reason why yours is, you know, kind of doing a little loop-de-loop here is because once you're done stroking, okay, you're coming up and your top hand is actually coming all the way up to the top here, and what that's going to do is it's going to hurt your shoulder a little bit. It's going to wear your shoulder down in the long run. So especially, I mean, your guys' race, I think, I don't know if this year is a quarter mile or half mile, you know, either way, whether it's a quarter or half, you're going to want to try to minimize the amount of energy that you expend lifting up your shoulders. So the higher your shoulder goes, the harder it's going to be to actually paddle. And so you see how my shoulder stays right at my eye level, and yours goes all the way up above your head. So you imagine, you know, bringing your shoulder up all the way. I mean, it's good, you know, if you're flexible and everything, but it definitely wears you down. So you want to try to limit the amount of upward movement. And the way that you do that is what's happening is your bottom hand, if you take a look at your bottom hand here, so let me close this up here. Taking a look at your bottom hand, it's coming straight back to the front, and it actually comes up pretty high off the water. So you see how seat 4 here, his one is a little bit lower to the water, or his paddle is a little lower to the water. I think your paddle's a little bit high off the water. And what you can actually do is your top arm, you can bring it slightly across your body rather than going straight back up to the top. And because you know how they say keep the top hand above the gunnel, or keep your top hand above your bottom arm. On the return, it's okay to come a little bit across your body, and then that way you don't have that real high up shoulder movement. I wish I had a video of us like from behind, so you can actually see, you know, where the movement of your top arm is. So we'll see if I can see if this works here, if you can see. So taking a look here, first stroke, so coming through on my side, on the right side here, and then what happens at the end of the stroke is my top arm, it comes across my body. So you can't see it in the video, but it's coming across my body rather than straight up and down. So my top hand is not 90 degrees or perpendicular to the bottom. So my paddle is actually flaring outwards a little bit, out towards like the side of the canoe here. So in that way it doesn't, so that way my shoulder doesn't have to come all the way up to the top. So don't know if that makes sense, but you know, we can kind of, Nick can probably explain it, Bretta can explain it as well. So they can kind of help you out here. So that would be one. So that's the first thing that we take a look at is what is the trajectory of your top arm. Second thing that we look at, so let me close this up again. Second thing we look at is what is the paddle angles? What do the paddle angles look like? So here, looks good. And so what you're doing here is you're reaching out. And coming through. So actually right here is right before you hit the water. Okay, so right here, boom. And then the next few strokes, the next thing we look at is where is the paddle fully submerged, which is right about here, right about here. So that's good, okay? So I'll compare you to another guy here. So let's pull up, compare you to, what is this? Oh no, it's not Nick. How about, actually John is pretty good. So I'll compare you to Johnny here. So take a look at your angles, and then we'll take a look at Johnny's angles in C2 again. So that's where he's first started. Okay, so pretty similar angle to yours. And then as he comes through, his paddle is fully submerged right there. Okay, so really good stuff, right? So you can see how your paddles are pretty much identical to each other. Really good, okay? So you should be happy with that. Your paddle angle looks really solid. And so the only difference now here, okay, so what's happening is on the right side, if you take a look at Johnny's body, see how he's kind of driven down a little bit more? That top arm, it does help if you drive that top arm down a little bit. I don't know, if Brother Nick and Honu are, what they're teaching or anything. Hopefully this doesn't contradict again, like I said. But especially when we're looking at warm-up strokes, this top arm should be driving down as hard as possible. One thing that you can do is that bottom hand, you can lift it up a little bit, get it a little bit higher up on the blade there, or on the shaft, or choke up, I guess you could say, choke up a little bit, so you have about a fist length away from that carbon fiber here. So fist or 2 fist lengths. So if you take a look, Johnny's hand is a little bit about 2 fist lengths away from the blade. Yours is about 1, so you can come up just a little bit. I wouldn't say go up that much higher, but you can go up a little bit more to get that a little bit more positive angle. You see how his hand is very, very relaxed, okay? So his bottom hand, very, very relaxed. He's not squeezing the paddle with all of his might. Your forearms will burn out towards the end of the race, whether it's a quarter, half, 42 miles, whatever it is. Your forearms will get sore after a while, so loosening up that grip there would help you as well. Coming through, really, really good twist. See how your head got that movement there. Really good twist there. You got good body motion. Taking a look at your bottom shoulder. See, this bottom shoulder is pushed forward, which is really good. Your top shoulder, which is your right shoulder here, it's pulled back a little bit. So same thing with Johnny. So he's got his bottom shoulder forward, his top shoulder is pushed back. So really good. And what that does is it allows you to twist. So you got this twist, you get this twisting motion here. So from your shoulder here, you got this T, right, down to the hips. Okay, so once you go forward, and see how that T changes now. See how you got this actually coming this way. So your T looks like this, which is really good. With that said, that means you have really good twist. Next thing we look at is hinge motion. So hinge meaning your hips, your legs right here, and then to your head. So that hinge right there, and then so you go like this. Actually, this is kind of where you start here. Okay, so that's your first hinge, and then as you come through, you paddle up, and you're sitting up, sitting up, sitting up. Boom, that looks beautiful. Okay, so your hinge now is here, up to here. So let's take a look at those 2 lines here. Oh, come on, stay a little longer. Okay, that's your hinge motion right there. So from this first line here to this line here, that's your hinge, right? So you have really good twist, just like this right here. So you got this twist. What happened? Where'd it go? Okay, so good twist from your shoulders. This shows your shoulders, and then down to your torso, down to your hips. You got good twisting motion there. Very, very good twisting. And then, like I said, close this out here. Oh, well, it's fine. Don't worry about the right side. Don't pay attention to that. So we got your hinge motion. So starting here, boom, and then coming through over here. Very, very good. Okay, so good stuff, man. Overall good paddling. Let's take a look at your right side and focusing mostly on the left. Let's get another one. There we go. Okay, looking at the left, I'm going to close this out. So really good reach. Again, angles are really good. Fully submerged right about here. And then you're driving down. Good twist. Good hinge. I think your hinge, not bad. Yep. see how you're straight up again, right? So finishing straight up. So down and then up. Beautiful. Good job, man. Sorry, let's go back again. Yeah, so you can get a little bit more power that by driving down and then getting a little bit more of that hinge motion earlier on, because right now see how you're hinging towards the back, right? So if you get the hinge motion a little earlier on, it'll allow you to drive down that top arm a little bit more, give you a little bit more power. And see on this side, you're actually grabbing a little bit higher on the paddle, on the blade shaft. So this side is good when you're grabbing on this side. So good stuff, man. Driving down, lots of power. Oh, finally, legs, all right? So your legs here. You want to make sure that your legs are really engaged when you're paddling. So, come on. So let me show you a couple guys here who have good leg movement. Actually, I think, oh, here, these guys here. So this here is Creighton and Freddie, or Freddie Creighton. So if you take a look at, I think Freddie's legs, so seat 1, take a look at seat 1's legs. I don't know, you can't really see it, but what he's doing is he's driving off, he's loaded up that front leg, and then what he does is that he twists and pushes off. See how his leg is moving right there, okay? So let's take a look again. Oh, switching, shucks. Fast forward here. There we go. Okay, do it again. So again, taking a look at his front right knee, he's got a real good push off of that front leg. Okay, so one thing that you want to try to do is leverage as much as possible using your legs and engaging your hips definitely does help. So in order to do that, you have to get a little bit of flexibility. So doing some stretching before and after practice is helpful. Engaging your core because you do use a lot of core when you're paddling. So doing push-ups, sit-ups, those sorts of things too, it'll definitely help you. So taking a look again, smoothing out that top arm, right? So you want to smooth out the top arm path so you're not like kind of jerking a little bit. You know, bringing your top arm across your body. Oops, no, stop this one. There we go. So bringing your top arm across your body so it doesn't come all the way up. You got good twist, good hinge. That's pretty much it. Good job, man.